So I always start everyone off with telling how they got started because everyone's background is unique, everyone's journey is unique. And I think that it's valuable. It definitely would have been valuable for me back then to hear someone else's story that I maybe related to. Maybe I said, "Oh, that sounds like me. That sounds like what I'm going through." And
Right.
just given that little, motivation to hear, "Hey, if John can go through it and be successful, maybe I can go through it too."
That's yeah, it's my journey's kind of interesting. I think, build cybersecurity companies. That's like what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So we start, and that's a lot about imagining a better future for, you know, very important cybersecurity use cases. Like the one I'm currently working on is how do I help organizations remediate vulnerabilities faster in containerized workloads? Like faster, better, more efficient, less work and energy expense in the company. That's what I'm currently working on. Now, the journey to from sort of, I've been around a while, I've been in the industry like 25 plus years, right? The journey for me is an interesting one in that I've always been sort of a builder. I was working in startup companies and my own companies since like 24 years old, right? So like very early on, I had this entrepreneurial bent and I always kind of took my own path to thing. And I think there's a parallel we can help your listeners take along with them, especially in this day and age. So it's a very simple, like I'll super summarize this. One of the early companies I founded was an internet service provider. Like literally, I had an ISP that I founded that had dial-up modems. That's how long I've been around, right? Like dial-up modems. There was no cable internet access. There was no big Verizon network doing this stuff. It was mom and pops with a T1 doing like internet access for the neighborhood and the people around you, right? And so we had to deal with like early stage network security stuff that like there was just not a lot of information about doing. So we genned up firewalls on servers and did all kinds of things. And then Checkpoint came out with their firewalls. So I kind of got pulled into being like, I'll call it a specialty. Like myself and my founders were networking guys. I was also building other networking products at a different company that I had founded. But basically, I had to do security well to do my day job well, which was build a product that was network service provision. So I had to learn a lot about network security. I had to learn a lot about securing the infrastructure that we were building. So pretty straightforward stuff. Now, fast forward, that was a networking company. And slowly but surely, my career kind of transformed into being from, I'll call it hardware networking and building hardware systems to building software systems. And along that journey, we built a software company at that time. We got a malware attack that kind of did damage. And we were building software for other purposes. It was software towards networking, but it was like the first time I'd encountered a meaningful attack on me that the root of it was software security. Like I couldn't get through that malware attack. And so I really took it on as like a pet interest. I said, you know what? That's never happened to me again. This is my new passion. And I literally at that moment flipped the corner and said, I'm only going to work on security problems right now. And I need to stop this. This is terrible. It revealed itself to me as wow, this is a really dangerous thing for anyone, especially organizations that can be subject to this. The internet was a thing now, right? And it was easy to mess up. And I thought, wow, I have some purpose in this. I really feel like I can make a difference. And since then, I really not started thinking about anything other than, I not stopped thinking about software security, web application security, SaaS security, you name it. And it sort of led me down a really fun, interesting, and great career path where I've built now several big businesses and companies, both starting them from small and growing them to raising venture capital and building companies like I'm doing now to running a $500 million cybersecurity business in Cisco. And I would say the takeaway for that, like let's bring this down to ground, right? Like, so that sounds like a lot of stuff happening fast. It wasn't. Really invested in learning. I studied everything I could. By that time, the internet had volumes of information. I read a lot of books, like how to hack. I wanted to think like a hacker. I wanted to act like a hacker. So I'm an engineer, right? I'm a curious engineer with good programming skills, with good hardware engineering skills. I know how networks work. I know how software works. I have background in engineering degrees and stuff like that. So I, um, I really made it my pet passion and then turned it into my business passion and business focus. And it started with the pet passion, which was, hey, can I learn how malware works? Can I investigate that and try it myself? And I'm telling you, if I had AI on my desktop to work with back then, it could have accelerated my learning a ton. So I would say, like, for anyone who wants to get into it, be curious, find something that you're passionate about, put in the work and effort to learn it really well, and make it so that you can demonstrate that learning. And I think in today's world, that's, like, make a GitHub repo of your examples. Like, build something that actually demonstrates your knowledge or demonstrates the problem. Or, and again, you're a guy who does blogs to help people learn. Like, put it out there, put it on your LinkedIn, put it, like, learn in the open and really get people to recognize that your passion's there and that you're putting in the energy. And I'll tell you, in cybersecurity, you got someone who proves they know something, shows they want to work hard, can demonstrate their value. There's like a million jobs so in cybersecurity that are unfilled around the world. I mean, like, I think you can actually build it yourself by rolling
Yeah.
up